Created on the 3rd of January 2009, Bitcoin gave us all hope of a new monetary system that was completely incorruptible. The traditional banking system and central banks are rightly worried about how Bitcoin can free the global population, and it's all because of... Now, you've probably heard all the buzz. That's why you've clicked on this video. You've probably seen the crazy price swings, or maybe it's all completely new to you. But the question here is it all just hype? Well, hype it is not. Bitcoin is way more than just a cryptocurrency. It's a complete revolution in how we do finance, how the global banking system will function, and it all changed from 2009 when it was created. It's got the potential to change things forever, for the better, all for you. I feel like there should be some dramatic pause there. Transition. Okay, so question, do you know how the banking system works? It's a really important question, and if not, that's fine, it's not a trick one. Just pay attention to the next minute or so, because if you listen to nothing else in this video, this clip will blow your mind.
Well, I'm a bank, Brian, and I borrow money and I lend it out, and I charge more to the people I'm lending it to than I pay to the people from whom I'm borrowing it.
Well, who do you borrow money from?
Well, from, depositors, Brian. Have you got a dollar?
Well, yeah,
I
sure.
borrow your dollar and I give you, there's your bank balance.
$1.
$1.
Right, okay, and you pay interest to me on that?
I do, but I also charge you fees.
Well, why do you charge me fees?
Because, Brian, I'm looking after your money. Your money is secure with me. I'm a bank. I mean, this is a very important amount of money. This is probably your nest egg. It's safe with us.
And how much interest do you pay me?
Approximately the same as I'm charging you in fees.
Oh, good deal for me.
Well, your money's secure with us, Brian, and I then lend that money to businesses, and those businesses generate income. This is how we build an economy.
Yeah. And they put that income into the bank?
They do, of course, Brian, and that builds the savings pool, and we can invest more money.
Well, who do you lend that to?
Well, to people who need credit, Brian. You see, money creates more money, so if we can create money that creates more money, we're broadening the economy, we're expanding it all the time. Yes.
But shouldn't people just buy the can afford?
You don't need to afford the things you're buying, Brian. You need to afford the interest on the money you need to borrow in order to buy them.
Do people need to be buying these things that they can afford?
Obviously they think so, Brian. I mean, these things are advertised to people as very necessary, very important, and deeply, deeply attractive.
Well, who's advertising things that people don't need?
The companies we're lending the money to.
Yeah, so what do you think about that? Now, I know it was put comedically, but this is how it works for real. So how do you feel about it? Leave a comment below, click the like button if you like this, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more of this excellent content. So I think we can all agree the current financial system has got its problems, and I think that's putting it lightly. Traditional banks can be slow, bureaucratic, have hidden fees, and that's me putting it lightly. They're also profiteering, racketeering, reckless with people's lives and money and pensions that they've saved for their entire lives. And above everything, seek financial benefit for themselves, right? Does that sound unfamiliar? Am I saying anything unreasonable? Inflation, it's an absolute creation of the current financial system, the current banking system. And it chips away the value of your savings and the money in your pocket every single day. And let's not forget the 2008 crisis, a stark reminder of when things get really reckless and there are no checks and balances. Or in fact, there were checks and balances, but no one really cared. And they were completely ignored. History lesson, really important. In 1971, President Nixon took the US dollar off the gold standard. That matters. And it's also the reason why Bitcoin is potentially so powerful. So before this, in 1971, every US dollar in existence had the exact equal amount of gold in a safe somewhere in the world, Fort Knox. Removing the US dollar from the gold standard meant that the government could literally press Control P on the printing press and just make more money. What the f? Gold was the perfect money, but the problem with it, it's heavy, it's cumbersome, and it's not fungible. Well, what the hell does fungible mean? Well, if your wealth is in a $1,000 gold bar and you want to spend $10 of it, that would be not fungible. And this is why paper currency was invented. And it's important to use the right terminology here, because paper, which is what this is not money. This is currency. Fun fact, did you know that prior to 1965, US coins had 90% silver in them? That gave them intrinsic value. This was then later removed, and by 1970, all of the silver in the coins in the US were replaced with just cheap, crappy nickel. Much cheaper, much easier to mass produce. Now, taking the US dollar off the gold standard was incredible for the US economy. It exploded into life, creating economies, microeconomies in each state, and the global economy also sprang to life as every single other nation wanted to trade goods with the US. So the US dollar became the currency that everyone would trade in. It became the world's reserve currency, and still is today. But It also created the cyclical nature of financial booms and busts that we're all too familiar with actually, over the last 10 or 20 years or so. Capitalism was, and still is, completely on steroids. What do you think about that? Leave a comment below. I'm really keen to get your thoughts on this. So how does Bitcoin offer a solution? After all, that's what this video is about. Enter Bitcoin. It's a digital currency and it's completely decentralized, meaning there's no single entity that controls it. It's completely decentralized, meaning there are no single entities that control it. No central banks, no private companies. It's completely independent of all those structures. Transactions are recorded on a public ledger called the blockchain. Jargon, but it's going to be really important to Bitcoin and actually the rest of our lives. This makes all the transactions on the blockchain transparent and very secure. Bitcoin's designed actually to be deflationary, and this means it strips away the necessity of economic booms and busts that you get with currency created by the banking system. Being deflationary by design means that there's a limited supply of it in existence. That's why Bitcoin is so special, and that's why it's so similar to gold, because there's only a finite amount of gold in existence. Yes, there may be some that's still mined in the earth, but what we've got above the earth now, that's it. Once it runs out, there is no more. So this limit of supply is a hedge against inflation. No more booms and busts, no more opportunities for the establishment to get rich, and no opportunities for the establishment to extract fees from you, the customer, and the global population, and also commits no nations to permanent financial bondage. Now, can you think of one negative to this? You've got to leave a comment below, because I can't. Well, Bitcoin's not just about convenience, it's also about empowerment. By using Bitcoin or derivatives of in the future, you're taking all of the power back into your hands. You're going to be completely responsible for your own finances, and you can make your own financial decisions. And you'll also benefit from the increases of the Bitcoin value. And let's not forget about the environment. I mean, the environment comes up all the time. Bitcoin is digital. No more printing of paper, no more shipping paper around the world in cars, vans, across the oceans, emitting plumes of gases into the environment. Bitcoin is completely digital, and I know there's going to be some eco warriors out there who say, well, Bitcoin takes a huge amount of energy to create or to mine. Yes, that is true, but equally I respond to you and say you can also use solar powered renewable energy to power the computers and servers that mine Bitcoin, so it completely becomes a neutral financial system source. But is it really saving the world, like you said? Well, that depends on how you look at it and what you consider the world's at risk from. Is it environmental risk? Is it economic risk? Or is it resource risk? It could be all of the above. So let's take a step back. Let's take a breather, because we've rushed into this. So the argument I know some people are saying now is, well, hang on a second, there are huge price swings. We've all seen that in the news recently. Bitcoin goes all the way up to something like 80,000 US dollars per coin last year, and then collapsed back down to, I don't know, $30,000-$40,000 or whatever, and now since has risen up to about $70,000 in recent weeks. These price swings are violent, and yeah, if you've got your life savings and your life wealth in there, you probably don't want to be on the receiving end of one of these downswings. I get it, totally. But if you don't look at it like a financial investment, a vehicle to store your wealth for the future, until it becomes something that we use in daily transactions, because we are using Bitcoins in transactions now, you can pay for things in Bitcoin, then it is completely fine. It's only speculators who want to speculate on the price going in one way, and you can make money going up and you can make money on the price falling. It's only those people that should be concerned about the price rises and falls of Bitcoin. I can feel the hate coming already. Look, if you're going to hold on to Bitcoin for the rest of your life, for the next 10, 20, 30 years, you're completely fine. Check back in 2 years' time and tell me what the price of Bitcoin is. That's speculation. I know it is. So why do you need to know about Bitcoin? Even if Bitcoin isn't going to be your personal savior, it is a technological advancement that you can't ignore. Skeptics who don't think this is going to catch on, I challenge them with this point. Ask our ancestors, our cave-dwelling ancestors who used to trade in bones and hides with neighbouring caves. I don't know if this is true, but we're humans. And then following that became a system of barter, where you knock your neighbour's door and you do this for me and I'll do this for you, or you give me that and I'll give you that. Trading. To what became what we all now know as physical currency. As I've just mentioned, the transition from gold and trading precious metals to paper notes. It is a journey of transition at each single stage, and we're just moving into a digital era. Being alive now, you're living through an actual transition period in history. There are periods of like stability, and then there are huge periods of huge transition. Think about when the telephone was invented, when the automobile was invented, the printing press, the democratization of utilities in the home, you know, washing machines and dishwashers and so on and so forth, the internet. These are huge transitory periods in time, and in the digital age now is getting exploited for all the benefits it can be used, which is where we're coming with AI and now digital currencies. They're going to be the norm. And let me ask you a question. How many transactions last week did you make with physical money? Or did you simply tap your card? I'm guessing lots of tapping. Did you tap your card for the Neanderthals, or you got your phone out and use your digital bank card and tap through that instead? Technological transition takes time, but not that much time in the grand scheme of things. Now, I do think Bitcoin has got a long way to go before it becomes the de facto global monetary system that we use in every single country across the globe, but I also think it's also inevitable. It's got the best chance of success over any other system that's preceded it since gold. I see the value of Bitcoin rising considerably, actually, but this is not financial advice. Let me be really clear on that. I just think that value will rise in line with meeting the requirements of large institutions at first, and that's already started to happen, and that will filter down to more domestic transactions as we go forward. Literally, you can go and buy a yacht or a plane with Bitcoin now. Go to Dubai, it literally does happen, but it's going to take a while before you're buying your groceries with Bitcoin. But even if it doesn't fully replace the current system, what if it just improves it immensely by having all legal transactions done on the blockchain with digital or cryptocurrencies? That'd be incredible. No more fees. I think the real catalyst for Bitcoin is Web 3.0. What is Web 3.0? So Web 3, I mean, Google it after this, but it's the next iteration of the World Wide Web, and it emphasizes decentralization, increases security, and even greater user utility and interaction. Our entire lives are going to be digital. Headsets, proper, Minority Report, space scanning stuff. So some of the key features of Web 3.0 are decentralization. Unlike Web 2.0, which is dominated by a small number of tech giants,
Amazon, and many others.
You knew that, right? Microsoft, Google, Amazon, you know that. Web 3 aims to distribute control across a wider network. Blockchain technology, told you, is a key driver of this, as it allows for a secure and transparent record keeping without the need of a central authority. Web 3 is built on open standards, allowing anyone to participate and contribute to the network. This contrasts to the closed ecosystems of Web 2.0, controlled by those tech giants I've just mentioned. Greater user utility. Web 3 proponents believe that users should have more control over their data and online experiences, and this could involve things like owning your own data and being able to take it with you between platforms. Think about moving your entire life from Apple to Android or vice versa, and I don't know why you would do that, but you can't do that at the minute because both platforms speak different languages. Web 3 is not going to be like that. So Web 3 is still in its early stages, and it's going to take a lot of time to develop and become completely normalized across the globe. There are tons of technical challenges that have got to be overcome before this becomes normalized, but make no mistake, it's coming, and you either get on board or risk digital exclusion from the world. Now, to be clear, I don't advocate the speculation of cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin is one of many out there, although Bitcoin is extremely unique in its makeup. No others have the same features that Bitcoin do. But the ones that do have some credibility to them, in my opinion, do your own research and don't speculate or invest, is Ethereum, which is huge, and also XRP by Ripple or Ripple by XRP, whichever way around it is. Those two alternatives do have some really attractive features that will enable them to also be currencies used on the blockchain or on Web 3.0 when that becomes live. Now, the YouTube algorithm is asking you to click like and subscribe right now. Thanks very much. And also, don't forget